Welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. Trump eyeing Chicago as he targets blue cities with his tyrannical idea of making them safer against the wishes of the lunatics who currently run them. Today, the president signed an executive order designed to end cashless bail, an absurd idea that became popular during George Floyd's summer of chaos. The president's order removes federal funding from any jurisdiction where no cash bail is still in practice. The White House looking for any way that they can think of to force deep blue cities to become safer against the will of those that operate them. Tonight, Washington, D.C. nears 2 weeks without a murder. That is astonishing. They used to get one about every other day. And an incredible decrease in violent crime as well in Washington. It is amazing how fast this has worked. It's amazing how fast the city's gotten clean and safe. It's a tremendous success story. And a young rapper has gone viral for a clip that he posted bragging that he can finally wear his ice around town again. Take a look.
They said FBI, DEA, ICE, it's all that outside in Washington, D.C. I don't even got it on my shoulder no more. I'm walking around with this. I ain't had none of this. I'm walking blocks with this.
And we've seen a lot of praise from real people that live in Washington, people that aren't indoctrinated by the ideology of the left. And with that, the president is now debating sending National Guard troops into Chicago as well, a city that has become more dangerous than some of the worst third world cities around the world. Take a listen to the boss.
We like clean, we like beautiful, and we like safe, and that's what we're getting. We will solve Chicago within 1 week, maybe less, but within 1 week we will have no crime in Chicago, just like we have no crime in D.C. They kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C.
Real indication of how far Chicago has fallen. Arrests have only been made in 16% of the 150,000 reported crimes this year. Why wouldn't you commit crime? The criminals have carte blanche. Chicago's South Side is one of the most dangerous places in the world, and the mayor and city leaders offer nothing but hyperbole and nonsense and lies and gaslighting. They feel no pressure to actually improve quality of life, as the Democrat Party has built a bulletproof apparatus that keeps them in power regardless of how bad it gets. This is why we see such staggering incompetence in some of our biggest cities, because they can't lose. No matter how much they screw up the city, they can't lose. In many cities, the stupidest resident is the person who runs it. Chicago is a prime example of that. And the residents have to suffer through it because the Republicans don't vote, the Democrats just automatically win, and their primary gives you the biggest idiot in the party. Many convinced that crime and misery must just be a part of the experience of living in a city. That's how people feel. Oh, it must just be like this. This must be how it has to be. It's not. And as Chicago's leaders brag about their meager progress in fighting crime, most of which can be attributed to the tricks that they play with the numbers, the locals in Chicago give us the real lowdown.
The National Guard has to come here, even if it's for a scare tactic. They have to come here. There's no control. There's no law and order.
Today, you hardly see a police car in a neighborhood. It just seems like crime is really out of control right now.
This is becoming way too normal in this city. And while some of the stats are down, that doesn't matter when 2 people were killed next door to you.
We have a rule, like on weekends, we don't walk here. We'll just, like if we go, we'll go to West Loop or whatever, we'll Uber, and then we'll Uber home.
The whole neighborhood is just sick of people coming into the neighborhood and acting like they can just come ravage your stores, take what they want to take, and then they try to make you feel like you're wrong for defending your property.
There you go. That's the reality of living in Chicago. Real people living there. There's no way to conceal that with statistical trickery. Today, Chicago's mayor, though, Brandon Johnson, and the governor, J.B. Pritzker, sounded a lot different than the real people that actually live in that city. They held a panicked news conference because they are absolutely mortified of losing their federal funding.
We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
Moron parade in Chicago today. Arresting people for crime won't stop crime, and it's racist to do so. I wonder why they have such an issue with crime on the south side of Chicago, because they've actually indoctrinated the residents, so many of them, to believe this. We need to give people free houses to stop them from committing crime with federal money. How terrifying that this is a fairly mainstream political theory in this country, one that's been tested on American cities all over the country in recent years. Today, Illinois' governor said if Trump cared about reducing crime, he wouldn't be cutting funding to violence prevention programs for trained outreach workers to de-escalate conflict on the streets. J.B. Pritzker is talking about the guidance counselors that these people all want to send out to replace cops. He actually said that today with a straight face. And then he said this.
This is not a time to pretend here that there are two sides to this story. This is not a time to fall back into the reflexive crouch that I so often see, where the authoritarian creep by this administration is ignored. Donald Trump wants to use the military to occupy a U.S. city, punish his dissidents, and score political points. If this were happening in any other country, we would have no trouble calling it what it is, a dangerous power grab. His proposed actions will make our jobs harder and the lives of our residents worse. Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
Do not make my city safe, because it will cost me terribly politically. They are mortified at what would happen politically if Trump cleaned up Chicago and the South Side was suddenly no longer littered with dead black kids. They're terrified of that. Their entire party's approach for years to law and order has been that more cops, more security, more arrests does not work. If their city sees that it does work, and it works quickly the way it did in D.C., they are doomed. It would be the end of Pritzker's presidential ambitions. It would be the end of Brandon Johnson's political career. So they respond with this kind of talk.
We're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people in this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny. And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city. Tyranny.
You know what's tyranny is only having one political party as a choice, which is what most of the people in Chicago have to deal with. They had Lightfoot. Lightfoot was a total idiot. And somehow they replaced Lightfoot with a bigger idiot. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Who thought that after Lightfoot went out that you'd get Brandon Johnson? That's tyranny. Tyranny is having no options, no choice. That's Chicago. That's most blue cities. You got one party to choose from. The other one doesn't really exist. Tyranny is cleaning up the city, lowering the crime rates. The real danger to Democrat politicians is not more crime in their jurisdictions. It's actually less. If their communities become safer using a tactic that they have vilified, which is more cops, more security, it will be a political earthquake for them. It's happening in D.C., and it could end their stranglehold on the black vote and on these big cities once and for all. Today, Stephen Miller detailed the scam that was pulled in Washington to give residents the illusion that the left's insane policies actually do make people safer. Take a listen to this.
We've uncovered, in the process of uncovering, a massive scandal in Washington, D.C. with the doctoring of crime stats. And the Department of Justice, under the Attorney General, is leading the effort to uncover this. But when we ultimately share the results, it will stun you. The extent to which, even though D.C. had the worst crime in America, honestly measured, it dramatically understated how bad it was. There's even accusations that murders and homicides were reported as accidents instead of murders. I mean, this is how severe the manipulation of the crime data has been in this city.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news, no spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.